So good evening again at Tushita, and good evening everyone joining online. And welcome for this guided meditation on courage, which is actually the 16th of the 16 qualities that we have been exploring for the last few months. A bit loud. Is it too loud or you are not hearing it loud enough? Let me check the settings. I think you're, yeah. I think the sound is clear, no? It's too low, but maybe, can you increase the volume of your device? Because it's the same setting that we usually use. Okay, so I'll just carry on. So, yes, we have been exploring 16 inner qualities that are called the 16 guidelines for a happy life. And today is the last of these 16 sessions. And this one that we are exploring today is courage. We'll see what it means and meditate on that, do an analytical meditation on that, on courage. So these 16 meditations, actually, they have been extracted from a text that was composed by the king of Tibet in the 7th century, King Songtsen Gampo. And that really contributed, this text really contributed to transform Tibet from a very uncivilized, warlike nation to the kind Tibetans that we know today, right? When we go to Dharamshala, we see how kind the Tibetans are, very disciplined and so forth. So that text with the 16 qualities really helped to achieve that. And here, in the context of the 16 guidelines, because back in the 7th century, that text that the king composed was very much based on the Buddha's teachings, very kind of a religious. So here, these 16 guidelines, they extracted only the 16 values from that text, leaving aside completely any, religious Buddhist dogma, basically. So that, it's a modern approach that can also be taught in schools and companies, in secular environments, non-religious environments. So we'll explore courage today. Before we do that, we will do a short placement meditation to arrive here, and to try to develop our concentration so that we are fully present for the session, fully focused, to do the analytical meditation after on courage. And after the placement meditation as well, I will briefly introduce how courage is presented in the context of the 16 guidelines, what means courage in this context. And then we can also discuss, we can make this interactive, we can discuss among ourselves, what ideas we have about courage, what we think about courage, and if the presentation that is given here resonates with us or not, and so forth. And then at the very end of the session again, after the analytical meditation, again, we can have some interaction to, exchange how the meditation had an impact on us or not, and if we were, able to meditate on courage and so forth. Also, because this is the last one of the 16, there will be a small exercise, where we will ask you to, in the context of courage, meditate on another one of the 15 other qualities. So don't worry, I'll just remind you of all of them. And you just pick one that you'd like to develop more with courage, basically. And so since you're joining for the first time, maybe you can just think about courage and how to develop courage with courage or something. Or just pick any of those qualities, even if you don't know the precise definition of that quality, something that you would like to develop in you. But yeah, this is for later at the end of the analytical meditation. So for the time being, let us take a moment to first arrive here on the cushion, on the seat, and in front of your device at home. Trying to leave our worries outside, trying to come in the present moment, trying to feel the seat on which you are seated. And let us start by taking 3 deep, slow and long breaths. Feeling the stomach rising and falling with every breath. Every time we inhale, trying to refresh our attention. Every time we exhale, trying to relax. Now we'll do a short calm abiding meditation. So for this there are 4 instructions. The first one is to look at our body posture. Ideally we sit on the floor, but if you're sitting on a couch, a bench or a chair at home, it's perfectly fine. Just make sure you're not leaning against the support of the chair, not leaning forward either. If you're sitting on the floor, the best is to sit in the full lotus posture. That means both feet on top of the opposite leg. It might be a little bit challenging, so make sure you're not, pushing your body, you're not forcing. Make sure you're sitting comfortably. You can simply sit cross-legged or in just in a half lotus, or even the way they sit in Myanmar with one leg in front of the other. Make sure you're comfortable. If you're sitting on a chair, the best would be that also your feet are both flat on the floor, like not crossing your legs or sitting, in an unstable way. If the floor is too low for your feet, you can place a cushion, so that both of your feet are flat. Regardless if you're sitting on a chair or on the floor, make sure your body is upright, your back is straight. This is the most, important instruction when it comes to the body posture. You can imagine there is like a string pulling from the crown of your head and keeping your body upright. The hands, traditionally we place them in a concentration mudra, so you have your right hand on top of the left. The 2 thumbs are slightly touching, and this rests in your lap. Allow some space between your arms and your body, for some air to flow. Even though your back is straight, your body is upright, it is not stiff. Make sure, you are the back is loosely straight, like straight but not stiff. And in fact, the shoulders are completely relaxed and even. The neck is aligned in the continuation of the spine. You can very gently tilt the head forward, not too much. If you tilt the head too much down, you'll have a tendency to fall asleep. Too much up, you'll be distracted with many thoughts. So try to find a middle way, very gently tilt it forward. The neck aligned with the spine. You can place your tongue just behind your upper teeth towards the upper palate. This helps to reduce the production of saliva while you meditate. And finally, it is recommended not to meditate with the eyes completely closed, but leaving them slightly opened, allowing some light to enter, hopefully keeping us alert while we meditate. Simply gazing in the space in front of you, about 45 degrees cast down, not paying attention to what your eyes are seeing. It is the mental consciousness that meditates. So this posture has 7 points, and the most important one is for the body to be upright. So this is the first of the 4 instructions for calm abiding practice. The second instruction is the object of meditation. What are we actually meditating on? If you are new to this, I would suggest using the breathing sensation at the entrance of the nostrils. Try to place all your attention there, not on the body part as such, but the feeling, the sensation as you breathe in, as you breathe out. Perhaps as you breathe in, you feel a little bit of a cooling sensation there. As you breathe out, perhaps a little bit warmer. Try to focus on that, on the sensation. Now, the third instruction when we meditate is that we tend to get distracted. And there are two main ways we get distracted. The first one is called mental excitement. Basically, we are distracted with thoughts, mostly thinking about the past, the future. And the second way we tend to get distracted is with mental laxity or dullness or lethargy. Especially if you're coming here after a long day at work, you might have a tendency to fall asleep, you try to focus, but then the mind is sinking and therefore you lose your object of meditation. Be it with, mental excitement, thoughts, you're thinking about something else, not about your object of meditation, or daydreaming, falling asleep, the mind is sinking, also you lose the object of meditation. So these are the two main ways we get distracted. The fourth and final instruction is good news. There are two antidotes that we can use to counteract these two distractions. So the antidotes are called introspection and mindfulness. Introspection, you can imagine it's like an agent in the background of your mind that is constantly checking, what is my mind doing? Is it meditating or is it distracted with thoughts or lethargy? And the moment introspection notices that the mind is not meditating, is not focused on the object of meditation, then we make use of the second antidote, which is called mindfulness. And the role of mindfulness is to bring the mind back, wherever it is, to bring it back onto the object of meditation, making sure it remains on the object of meditation. An analogy that I always use, you can imagine if you had a pet dog at home and the dog runs away from home. Introspection notices the dog is gone. Mindfulness brings the dog back home. And you can imagine also tying him against a pillar, so that he remains at home. It is similar to what we are trying to do with our mind. So we'll do this for about 5 minutes, trying to remain focused on our object of meditation. In the background, checking with introspection, am I meditating or not? And if I notice that I'm not meditating, making the effort to mindfully bring the mind back to the object. 5 minutes. gently come out of the meditation. Now that we are hopefully a bit more focused, let us see what is meant by courage. I'll briefly introduce the topic for today, and then once I went through the description, the kind of the definition that is given here of courage, we can take some time to interact and discuss among ourselves what ideas we have about courage and what we think about courage. So it says courage is a quality that resonates with us all, guiding us through life's twists and turns with strength and perseverance. It's not just about grand gestures and epic journeys. It's about the everyday moments of bravery that shape our lives. Courage is about recognizing that something more or different can be done, summoning the determination to act, and persisting despite obstacles. We know in our bodies when we've been courageous. There is a glow of satisfaction and relief. Something has shifted and we have grown. Courage is not defined by what we do, but what we overcome within ourselves. It comes in many forms. It is found in a steady approach to everyday difficulties, as well as in the single spontaneous gesture. It is happening quietly all around us, as well as in the news. Courage involves acknowledging our fears, but not being deterred from offering something that goes beyond our own immediate needs and comfort. Most courageous people have decided that the well-being of others is more important than their own, and have allowed this decision to drive their actions and the way they live. Invariably, they seem to find their own happiness in the process. Courage can fuel our motivation to act on what we care about. We tap into energy that we didn't know we had. We may be surprised by the difference our words and actions can make. It is often when we are challenged that we feel most happy and alive. Courage can be compelling, exhilarate, exhilarate, sorry, I will manage, exhilarating and contagious. Courage boosts our confidence in what human beings are capable of. It can take courage to stand up for what we believe in. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they are never weaknesses. What in your life requires courage? What have you done that took courage? What would you like to have more courage to do or to say? And what do you think is the connection between courage and happiness? Let us take a moment to share a little bit. On Zoom, I think you have the possibility to unmute yourselves if you want to say something. And here we have a mic that we can circulate, so people online, they can also hear whatever we say. Thank you. So, whatever thoughts you have about courage, what courage means to you, and also these questions. What in your life requires courage? What have you done that took courage? What would you like to have more courage to say or to do? And what do you think is the connection between courage and happiness? Anything that goes through your mind, don't be shy.
Do I just speak in this?
Sorry,
Do I have to turn it on?
It's
No,
on.
It's on.
Yeah, so people online can also hear.
I think courage is more of a expression of how you choose to have like your own agency in life, as opposed to a reactivity towards things. It's not just about seeing what's going on, it's also about taking some sort of deterministic action against it. And that could be based in your values, that could be based in your philosophy, but it has to be something that's oriented outside of yourself, but guides your decisions to upholding that, as opposed to just whatever emotion or sensation or behavior just strikes your fancy at that moment. Yeah, I think staying true to something outside of yourself is courageous.
Mm.
Would you like to?
No, I try to figure out, but there's so many things when it comes to courage. The first things comes is that it takes courage to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
So be happy is a state of mind, and you have to be courageous to believe you can be happy. But yeah, I think it's so many things to talk about courage. But I think each time we try something new, it takes courage to do something, and it's not really kind of a constant currency. It's really a currency with a lot of inflation. That's as the most as we are courageous, as the less courage it takes to do new things and to try and to go in life. So it's extremely rewarding, because if you are courageous, things become easier. And normally courage, when you take the risk of doing something, you are in general rewarded. You may not succeed, but you will learn something in every case. Mm. So courage is always rewarded when you do it, because you will at least learn something.
Mm. Shoriendu, Ray, you can just unmute yourself and speak, no worries. Yes.
I totally agree with what the discussants before me said. So, and I would want to tie it with the inner goodness that all of us sentient beings have. We would like this inner compassion, which every person has. When we tie that in with courage, we see that slight segue. We as human beings are also status quoists and very lazy. So perhaps a facet of courage would be, having the gumption to initiate something, to do something, to stand up for what you think is right. It could be as simple as if somebody is littered in front of you, pick up that wrapper and put it in the bin. A simple act like that is changing the status quo, and it pushes you to do something and get you out of your lazy zone. Now, when you tie that in with your innate goodness, it becomes extremely rewarding. So you feel very satisfied with your small little measure of contribution. But at the same time, you don't find enough people being courageous. Herd mentality is sort of where we are at. And you see that with most of us at most times. So the few times that we do show courage, we do show fortitude, gumption, whatever you call it, those times do become quite rewarding. But at the same time, if we were always courageous and always valorous, I think there'd be no novelty left in it. So it's best kept for the few occasions.
Thank you. And then Pragya Sharma.
Hi. So I think my views on courage is like the biggest courage, which is to ask the question, "Who am I?" And I think that is the biggest courage which will transform our life for sure. Because we have to drop our ego And I think that is the most courageous thing one person can do in his or her life. So I think I'm following Tushita from last 1 year. I have also attended that 10-day course. And one thing for sure I have added in myself is courage. That is the 16th guideline. There is a reason why this is the last one. Because without courage, we cannot follow the remaining 15. So I think courage is something which is basically our true nature, but we are so much influenced by society that we become fearful. Fear and desire came into place, and our courage just go on. So that's my views on that.
Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to say something before we do the meditation, the analytical meditation?
Yeah, I
Apo?
think,
Praveen. Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Go ahead, Praveen.
yeah, I think courage can be defined as a maybe mental or moral strength to come out of some difficult situations or your fears or any kind of negative situation that may involve any kind of danger, risk, or pain. So obviously there can be more comprehensive definition of it, but I think this is one of the aspects that I can highlight.
Thank you. Then there was Apo. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, in addition to what all others have said, I feel that courage is the inner strength to accept the flaws we have. Suppose say I have certain flaws, and instead of denying it, I accept responsibility for it, and I also resolve to correct myself. So I think that is courage.
Thank you very much. Then we have Alka. Alka, please go ahead.
Hello,
Yes.
sir. Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sir, for me, courage is more of a we are surrounded in the society where uh, each and every decision is get influenced by others. So whatever we are doing in life, most of the decisions are taken by others for us without even knowing, without we are not also aware about that. So to break that cycle and to take that courage to do something different and listening to our inner voice, that is courage for me. Because whole society is thinking something different. I have my friend circle who most of them are engineers and doctors, and I was the one who broke that cycle and get out of it. And I am a Reiki master as well. So I did something different which nobody even thought of it. So that is courage for me because whole world will be telling you something else that do this because and we do something else, that is courage. And we don't allow society to influence our life in each and every manner. Like 99% of the people I have observed is most of the decisions are taken by society. Like when I ask you why you did engineering, they said like karna tha, but why? They don't have a specific answer to it. So somewhere then they get stressed out that I didn't want to do it and I am stressed out and everything. So they stop listening to their inner voice. So that is courage for me to break that cycle. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let us do the analytical meditation on courage, and then after that we can also interact a bit more and especially share, how the meditation was for us, if it had any, impact on our mind and so forth. So again, find a comfortable posture with the body upright but not stiff. The arms and shoulders are relaxed even though the back is straight. Drop your chin slightly forward, the neck aligned with the continuation of the spine. Gaze gently downwards, but don't pay attention to whatever appears in front of your eyes. It is the mental consciousness that meditates. And let us turn again our attention to the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Let us take 3 long, slow breaths, allowing the air to enter deeply so that the stomach rises and falls with each breath. Every time we inhale, trying to refresh our attention. Every time we exhale, trying to relax. Let us analyze, what do we mean by courage? Is courage about not having any fear, or about conquering our fears? Is courage always something visible and dramatic? Or can it also be a quiet inner quality? Are some people born courageous? Or is courage something we all have within us, just waiting to be activated? What role does courage play in building a happy and fulfilling life? According to the 16 guidelines, to be courageous is to accept responsibilities and challenges with determination and equanimity. Courage is about finding the inner strength to fulfill our potential as loving and caring human beings. Determination is what stops us giving up. When we have determination, we want to carry on and achieve whatever we want to achieve. Then equanimity is the ability to stay calm and balanced, to keep everything in perspective and take the long-term view. Courage, determination, and equanimity, the 3 of them act as the fuel that enables us to achieve our goals and create a happy and meaningful life. We generally consider people courageous for achievements such as skydiving or crossing the Antarctic on foot or climbing the Everest or leading a rescue mission. However, the 16 guidelines propose that courage is not primarily about what we do, but about finding the inner strength to overcome whatever fears and anxieties are holding us back. Some fears and anxieties act as a useful warning bells and have evolved to keep us safe from danger. However, other fears and anxieties may be no more than habits that have arisen out of a wish for comfort, control, and security, and which now get in the way of us moving forward and achieving our goals. Can you remember a time when you showed courage in the face of a responsibility or in the face of a challenge. Perhaps a time where you stepped outside of your normal comfort zone to help someone or to settle a dispute or to support a cause that's close to your heart. Try to remember and bring to mind a time where you showed courage. Perhaps a time where you wanted to achieve something that seemed difficult, but because of your determination and equanimity, you managed to achieve what you wanted to achieve. Can you identify the courage that made these actions possible? What made you step out of your comfort zone to achieve your goal? How did the action become possible? Was there a particular fear or hesitation that you needed to overcome? If there was a fear or hesitation, how did you manage to overcome it? And how did it feel to manage to overcome this fear and step into action? Has it made a difference to how you are now? All of us face responsibilities and challenges. There is no choice about that. But we can choose how we respond. It is courage combined with determination and equanimity which provides the power and strength to respond in a positive and creative way. The 16 guidelines propose that we all have the capacity to do this. That dwelling deep inside every person, without exception, is an inexhaustible source of compassion and wisdom. Courage is the fuel that helps us overcome our perceived limitations and activate our precious resources. Now let us do another exercise. bringing the 16 guidelines into daily life with courage and determination. Again, take a few deep breaths gently. And put your mind where your body is by observing how your stomach is moving up and down with each breath. Relax your shoulders, soften your eyes. And now we'll do this exercise, trying to bring the 16 guidelines into our daily lives with courage. Over the past few months, we have explored each of these 16 guidelines. Let us think about them, the previous meditation sessions, if we attended them, and the values we explored in each of these sessions. I'll just list them so you can recall if you were present. And if you were not present, listen, and afterwards we'll each pick one of these 16 inner qualities to try to bring them to our daily lives with courage. So we explored together humility, patience, contentment, delight, kindness, honesty, generosity, right speech, respect, forgiveness, gratitude, loyalty, aspiration, principles. A few weeks ago we explored service, and today we looked at courage. These are the 16 guidelines. Which one of these 16 is calling out to you today? Humility, patience, contentment, delight, kindness, honesty, generosity, right speech, respect, forgiveness, gratitude, loyalty, aspiration, principles, service, and courage. Which guideline are you picking? A guideline that you want to bring into your daily life for the coming days? Choose one of these 16 and consider what this particular inner value means to you. Take a few moments to connect with the essence of that value, with whatever you understand by it. And then make a conscious intention that throughout the next 24 hours, you will use all your courage and determination to put this inner practice, this inner value into practice. Whichever of the 16 values you chose, make a commitment that throughout the next 24 hours, you will use all your courage and determination to put it into practice. Tonight and tomorrow, the whole day, I'll make an effort to use all my courage and determination to put this inner value into practice. Scientific studies indicate that harnessing the power of a conscious intention is one of the most effective ways to bring about a change in our thoughts, speech, and action. You may be surprised at the difference setting a clear intention each day makes. Especially if you do this in the morning. If in the morning you make a strong, conscious intention for the whole day, you may be surprised at the difference that it makes. And then, you can follow up during the day, putting aside a few minutes just to check in with yourself, how you are doing with your intention. Are you putting this value into practice throughout your day, or are you not? And then at that time you can reconnect with the intention that you have set to make this guideline your theme for today. And see if it has made a difference to the way you're thinking, speaking, or acting. And you can also, while you're checking in, tomorrow at lunch, for example, quietly refresh your courage and determination to do your best to put this inner value into practice for the rest of the day. And then tomorrow evening, before you go to sleep, for example, you can again put aside a few minutes to check up, to reconnect with the intention that you are setting now, and review the last 24 hours. See how it went. Being honest with yourself and not worrying if your good intentions didn't go to plan. Just as it takes courage to embody our values, it also takes courage to accept that we cannot always live up to the standards we set up for ourselves. Sometimes we are expecting too much of ourselves. Take as long as you can to appreciate your positive intentions and be content with whatever you have learned. And before we stop, again, refresh your courage and determination to do your best to put the inner value, the guideline that you have chosen, to put that into practice for the next 24 hours. Setting a clear intention. For the next 24 hours, I'll do my best This small exercise is something you can do every day in the morning. And for that, you can use the 16 guidelines for a happy life. They come with like flashcards, guideline cards that you can download. And there is also an app. If you search for 16 guidelines in your app store, you will find it. Seeking a happy and fulfilling life takes courage. Changing how we think, changing how we speak, changing how we act takes courage. Standing by our principles takes courage. Serving others takes courage. And we may find that these are the moments when we feel most happy and alive. As Nelson Mandela said, there is no passion to be found in playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. May the practice of courage enrich your life and the lives of those around you. Gently come out of the meditation. Anything you would like to share about this meditation? Maybe you want to share which guideline you have chosen, which of the 16 values you will try to put into practice in the next 24 hours. Or yes, please. Can you pass the mic? Is it on?
First of all, thank you for the wonderful meditation. Somehow it made me go into introspection and think what I should change about myself. And I choose forgiveness as the guideline that I would try to implement from tomorrow onwards. Because for me, it's like having the courage to overcome the fear of, not choosing myself. So even when we forgive somebody, it's like choosing ourselves for once, because it's more like punishing yourself in that situation. So I think that'll help me in the future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what we talked about when we talked about forgiveness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Thank you for the 16 meditation, for the whole exercise. It's really appreciated. So out of the 16 this time, I choose one I'm working on this time, which is passions.
Patience, yeah.
And forgiveness and passions for me, it's interesting because it goes a little bit, because
Hand in hand.
passions to endure and to overcome challenge in life, but it's also passions with ourselves to give us the time to improve. And that's probably the most challenging of the two aspects of passions. Okay, so yeah.
Thank you. Online, anybody would like to share something? Please feel free to unmute if you would like to share something.
Yeah.
Pravinji?
For me, it is.
Yes, Pravinji,
Yeah,
please go
for
ahead.
me it is. Yeah, for me it is patience, because in today's life, being patient is very much required in our day-to-day dealing with the people, and obviously in our professional life as well. So I think this is something that I feel is going to be one of the most important guidelines or values that I'll try to endorse and obviously try to follow next 24 hours. Yep.
So whoever will try to make Pravinji angry tomorrow will not manage, hopefully.
No, I've actually stopped reacting now, but sometimes even if you don't react, you have internal grudges against people, right? So if I think this is something that we need to overcome, I believe. Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else online would like to say something? Otherwise, we can just leave it here. And yeah, if you missed, the other 15 guidelines and you would like to go through them, they are all on our YouTube channel. If you type Tushita Delhi on YouTube, then you will find our YouTube channel, and there is a playlist with all the 16 guidelines. They're all recorded. Neil, you would like to say something? No?
Yes. I'm going to say about the next 24 hours, possibly have more generosity in having more of an attitude of build up towards a cause, both personal and not only that, but towards other people who are there around us and around me, and so that is it. To be generous towards the cause of possibly even Buddhism. Yeah.
Thank you. Let us take a moment finally to dedicate, whatever positive energy and increased understanding from this session. Let us dedicate all that for those who are ill, people who are ill mentally or physically, for them to have a good health. Let us dedicate to those who are hungry or thirsty to have food and drink. To those who are being harmed by violence, war, and conflict, to be at peace. Let us dedicate for those who don't have a home, to be warm and safe. To those who are challenged with loneliness, disharmony of financial pressures, to end their worries and increase their happiness. And finally, let us take a moment to think how wonderful it would be if everyone in this room, everyone online, everyone in the city, in the country, everyone in the world were to achieve their full potential. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining tonight. And please join our morning meditations, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. online. Tomorrow evening, we'll have here a Vajrasattva purification practice, 6:30 p.m. On Wednesday, we have our weekly online debate class, Wednesday evening. And then on Saturday, we'll receive here a Brazilian nun called Venerable Tenzin Lamjun. She's coming at 5 p.m. and she's studying in a nunnery in Dharamshala to become a geshe, This is a 17 years study program, and she is, I think, in a 9th or 10th year already. And yeah, although she's coming from Brazil, she chose to do these studies. So she will explain us how, it is to be there, surrounded by Tibetan nuns and doing all these intense studies, memorizing texts like these and then debating those texts and so forth. So she will, talk about that. Saturday, 5 p.m. here and online. And then Sunday, 11:30 a.m., we have Venerable Geshe Lagdor, who is the director of the Tibetan Library in Dharamshala, who is going to talk to us about how to bring harmony between our head and our heart. Yeah, so that's promising to be very interesting. Sunday, 11:30 a.m. And it's actually fascinating. It's the first time Geshe Lagdor is coming here in person to Tushita, Delhi, although, we organized in the past teachings with His Holiness the Dalai Lama many, many times in Delhi. And Geshe Lagdor sometimes was coming, to help and translate and so forth. But it's the first time he's coming to the center itself, because of course when we used to invite the Dalai Lama, then it would be in huge venues, like the Ashoka Hotel and so forth. So yeah, so Geshe Lagdor never came here. It's the first time this Sunday. So yeah, excited, and we hope it's the first of many times. Because for example, you will miss it, right? So hopefully Geshe will come again and again. It's passing through Delhi quite often, I guess. So yeah. yeah. Yeah, and it will be recorded also anyway. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good night, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.